What's up, guys? It is the Bad Wolf. Once again, welcome to the program. I'm glad you tuned in because we're back at that same bat time, bat channel, or in this case, Bad Wolf time, Bad Wolf channel. All right, don't forget to join me over on Bad Wolf Unrestricted on YouTube. Make it hot. If you're watching these videos and you appreciate me, and you're not one of the two or three trolls that seem to linger around my channel, then I expect you guys over there. But you know who I know will probably be over there? The trolls. So I'm gonna need you guys to go over there and support me on that channel because I'm gonna make it do what it do, baby. Let's go. All right. So the last two videos by request I'm going to do is Texas and Oklahoma. All right. I'm not going to do all 50 of the states. I'm making these videos so that you guys can learn how to do it, what to do it, how to decipher it, how to use it, so you guys can fight for yourselves in court or whatever. Do not be belligerents and combatants on the side of the road. Print your information, put it in your binder, and you present all that information to the people on the side of the road. Uh, but if you have your VIN and everything done correctly, all they need to do is run the VIN and see that they don't have jurisdiction to give you a ticket, unless you're speeding or doing something stupid. But if they do overstep that, that's okay because it's about to be your payday. So you're going to sue them in federal court over that. All right. We already have people winning between 500,000 and 1.2 million. All right. Now, I'm not condoning going out there and setting them up and doing stupid stuff. So don't do that. Okay. Because if they have any inkling that you did it on purpose, you will lose. So don't do that. All right. Don't be like some of these people. Oh, I was speeding past the cops just to see if they would say or do anything. Then you're deliberately trying to extort them and you're deliberately trying to create a public event. You will be disturbing the peace and they will prosecute you. And if the Department of State finds out that you were on that BS, they will take your passport away physically or they will just destroy it in their computer and you won't have it and it'll be useless. Okay? So don't mess up a good thing, good people. We have plenty enough a-holes, trolls out there doing those things for us in general. So be the high level of caliber that we need you to be out there. All right. So before I do Texas, and that'll be this video, and then after this I'll do Oklahoma. So I'm not going to make like a separate big video on this. This is not the end of my YouTube reign. We're still going to do things, but I am going to ease back on the videos and I'll explain why. I need time now to spend with my family, and my extended family, myself, just to chill out. I have actually pulled off most of my I've pulled back from being on social media. I'm just tired of the negativity and the same everybody's fighting everybody, blah blah blah. I'm just tired of it. I need time to woosah, take a break, breathe. Um, so I may even in the next month or whatever else just take off the whole month over the holidays and just leave it all alone and breathe. I need time to read these books. I have books, including some of these over here. I haven't gotten to read yet, and I want to go back through some of that. I've got one of Ron Gibson's last books he made. I want to read that. I got the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure right there. I want to read that. So when I come back refreshed and renewed, I'll be able to teach you guys how to, without fear, sue any of these municipalities, law enforcement agencies, whatever else, without fear. So you'll know how to do it. Okay. So that's where we're at. So I'm going to take a little hiatus. I also have a book over here. Oh yeah, your boy don't be playing. Okay. So in order to learn these things and share the knowledge with you guys, so yeah, the channel will go on, but I'm just going to take a little bit of a break. So don't be surprised if you don't see a whole lot of videos pop up. I'm still good. Just going to read. I'll still be doing consultations. I may pop up on social media here and or there. But it just, you know what, it really takes, it's draining to see such negativity at times. And even though it's like a minute here, a minute there, whatever else, it diverts my time and focus away. And it's an energy stealer, and that's what they really want. So I am not going to play that game. So I'll pop on from time to time, check in on people, do some things. I've got admins usually running most of the stuff, and if not, it is what it is. But with that being said, because people also like a lot of entertainment, um, the Bad Wolf Unrestricted channels where I get to talk about numerous different topics on things that I've read and learned. So I will be over there a lot more, which is why I'm asking you guys to join me over there and help get those numbers up. And then I can monetize hopefully that channel at some point in time. And because, like I said, the donations come in every once in a while, probably less than five a month, just to be honest. All right. I have not accepted the numerous, and I mean a lot, of companies asking me to make them product videos on my channel and whatever else. But I'm gonna try to hold out until I get at least to 100,000 subscribers, and then if the other channel's doing good, then I won't need to use any of their stuff. I'm trying to avoid bogging you guys down with commercials, but I do see now why so many people do monetize and have their product placements on there, because you can't do it by donations alone. Definitely not. I would be on the streets at this point in time. So I take my odd jobs and do other things to help bring in extra money. But anyway, that's on me. All I need from you guys is to join me over in Bad Wolf Unrestricted. Okay. With that being said, let's take a look at right to travel in Texas. Like I said, I think I don't even know, like six so far within this last week. So we're going to do Texas, and then I'm going to jump over to Oklahoma, and then you guys will have the format to find it for your state, do it for yourself, and interpret the information. So without further ado, let's get over to this information and make it new to me and you. All right. So we're going to take a deep dive into Texas law. And out of the gate, this code 502.145 is going to be the one that is what we need. We'll break that one down. But let's take a look at other little bits and pieces before we jump into the creme de la creme. All right. All right. So they talk about a non-resident visitor may drive a private passenger car registered in their home jurisdiction within Texas as long as the use is non-commercial. See, they're very specific. They control everything commercial. And the home registration is still valid under Texas statute 502.145. All right. Texas has a 30-day deadline for somebody becoming a Texas resident to register their vehicle. So if you move to Texas and you start registering to vote, well, you've become a resident and they've registered your information to themselves, crossed from the private to the public. You got 30 days. Texas has an international registration plan with reciprocity, meaning you won't don't tax us in your jurisdiction and we won't tax you in our jurisdiction. Okay. And they got some stuff with the border being commercial zone. Once again, they control things that are commercial. Non-resident owned vehicle used to transport agriculture. Limits on exempt plates. Ensures that exempt plates may only be issued to vehicles owned by government entities. U.S. state political subdivisions, but it's also a lowercase s here for state. Also requires that the name of the owning agency be prominently displayed on the vehicle. So you may want to contact your DMV down in Texas and see if what you can get as far as getting them to give you exempt plates. Exempt vehicles, which are vehicles exempt from registration fee. Okay. So let's see what they have to say here.
Registration fees. The department must approve the application and ensure the vehicle is truly eligible for the exemption. Find law codes +1. B. The department must revoke the registration/recall plates if the vehicle is no longer used or owned under the conditions that qualified for exemption. Find law codes +1. C. The department must issue special exempt plates bearing the word exempt. D. Exempt plates are not issued annually, they remain unless revoked, lost, or damaged. Find law codes +1. E. Operation of a vehicle after revocation is subject to penalties for failing to register. Find law codes +1. This covers government, municipal, or other statutory exemptions, e.g., certain public service vehicles. Section 502.451 and Section 502.452, Limits on exempt plates. Section 502.452 ensures that exempt plates may only be issued to vehicles owned by government entities, U.S., state, political subdivisions. It also requires that the name of the owning agency be prominently displayed on the vehicle. Find law codes. Section 502.477, Non-resident owned vehicles used to transport agricultural products, offense. This statute imposes penalties when a non-resident uses a permit, from Section 502.092, to transport farm products beyond the permitted distance. Justia. Section 648.
All right. So now let's take a look up here, temporary permits for non-resident owner permits. So let's read through the top code up here because this is the one that we need.
Section 502.145, Vehicles operated by certain non-residents. A non-resident owner of a privately owned passenger car that is registered in the state or country in which the person resides, and that is not operated for compensation, may operate the car in this state for the period in which the car's license plates are valid. Non-resident means a person whose presence in this state is as a visitor and who does not engage in gainful employment or business, unless there is a reciprocal agreement. Texas, Public Law. B. This section does not prevent 1. A non-resident owner operating in this state for the sole purpose of marketing farm products raised exclusively by them, or 2. A resident of an adjoining state or country using a privately owned, registered vehicle to commute or make trips to purchase merchandise, so long as the vehicle is not operated for compensation. Texas, Public Law. D. This section does not affect reciprocal agreements between Texas and other jurisdictions. Texas, Public Law.
All right, so in 502.145A, a non-resident owner of a privately owned passenger vehicle. So once again, what do they say here? Privately owned. So if there's a privately owned vehicle, then they must control a publicly owned passenger car or motor vehicle, right? If they're addressing that a non-resident owner of a privately owned car, if that's a thing, non-resident means somebody not registered there. This is also you in the private, but your name has been tainted with the state. So the state's like, no, we're always going to see you as a resident. So that's why you have to put your vehicle into something private, like a private name, private trust, private entity, private government, private state, whatever. Do all the other steps appropriately. So watch all the other videos I have on right to travel before just jumping into things. because your entity is then the non-resident. You can create an affidavit, especially powerful beforehand, and title it, revocation of residency, or, that you are in fact a non-resident, and says that that car is registered in another state, lowercase s, or country in which the person resides. Remember, person by law can mean a person, place, or a thing, or an association. And this is a lowercase s. So it means any of the states. And that is not operated for compensation. Why? Because if you're being paid for it and using their roads, which belong to the Texans, the nationals, the state citizens, uh, that is their department. You're making money with their stuff that you as a Texan own, but you as a U.S. citizen are a member using. So they need to be paid. So if everything is done right, you got a private car, your entity is the non-resident, you have an affidavit of you not being a resident, you may then operate the car privately. So you may operate the car in this state, though even though they say in this state, they really mean in the geographical area. They do not own the whole state. Okay, the people own it. For the period in which the car's license plates are valid. So you put your name of your entity on the top of the plate. Make sure the DMV is updated, who owns the vehicle. You're not registering for their plates. You should have expiration on the plates. If not, you're going to put, exempt, okay, or put like, 2099. So then you have a validity date for the plates of 2099 or 2100. That way you're somewhat compliant with the state. Non-resident means a person whose presence in this state is as a visitor. That's what your trust or entity will be, because you're not registering to the state. There's no law that requires you to register unless you're a U.S. citizen in your either birthright or you decide to be. Who does not engage in gainful, because they own the word gainful employment, or business. They own those. Those are commercial public terms. It says, unless there is a reciprocal agreement, meaning another state, like say Florida, you drive from there to here, and the states have agreement. They have a reciprocal agreement. It's cool. Hey, we won't tax your people, don't tax our people. Y'all can do business here. We can go there and do business there. That's it, guys. Texas in a nutshell. Be safe out there. Take care of yourselves. As always, this is not to be construed as legal advice or fact. Do your own research. Always. Operate as a non-belligerent, non-combatant. Be safe out there. I'll talk to you guys later.